Now, I'm E,
I'm D.
and today we're going to recap episode 5 of The Real Housewives of Potomac. These ladies right here, yeah, last episode they were in a pickle. And I think everything's just going downhill from here. Like, I think it's just getting more convoluted, more dramatic. People are crying, feelings are hurt, you know. Makes for good dramas, but it's kind of a little annoying. So this episode is called Pie in the Austin Sky, and I think a lot started happening in this episode. Let us know what's up.
Okay, so for whatever reason, most likely to, generate drama early on in the season, ladies head to Austin, Texas, of all places, for their first group trip of the season. So per Yahoo Entertainment, the Real Housewives of Potomac cast is extremely splintered right now because of the drama, both new and old. Last week, Karen hosted a pickleball party to try to bridge together the gaps in their relationship. That was easier said than done. Nneka and Dr. Wendy used their time to battle it out over whether or not Wendy's mom, Iyom Susan Okusu, had been doing witchcraft against Nneka. By the end of the party, everyone felt puzzled. Was Wendy's mom conducting spiritual warfare, or is Nneka just a or is Nneka just a random cloud chaser looking for a ticket onto Real Housewives of Potomac? So this week, Ashley planned a cast trip to Austin, Texas. With the cast so divided, it's another opportunity to bring the ladies together. And she said it's the perfect city to let your hair down. Karen had similar hopes for her pickleball event, and that literally ended in disaster. So, what's going to happen when the ladies take their messiness to the weirdest city in the Lone Star State? Here's what went down on Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 5, Pie in the Austin Sky. The episode kicked off with Ashley, Mia, and Giselle meeting up to go shopping for their trip to Austin. Did they even buy anything? Probably not.
No.
In actuality, they just needed a reason to hang out and talk about the messy pickleball event with accusations of witchcraft being thrown around in the group. You can't blame these girls for needing to meet separately to talk about the mess. Giselle asked the ladies, "Do you think Nneka could be lying?" Although the ladies had just met Nneka like 2 seconds ago, they all made it clear that they believed her over Dr. Wendy. Ashley said that there was so much conviction in Nneka's story that it was hard not to believe. They all agreed that with Nneka's legal background, it would be odd for her to come on the show and blatantly lie. She's too smart for that, right? Quote, "I don't feel like Nneka would come onto this group and make up such a lie," Giselle explained. "I 100% believe Nneka." Then there was also the fact that Happy Eddie unfriended Ike on Facebook. Ike is Nneka's husband. For Giselle, something just isn't adding up, and she doubled down on the notion that Wendy could be hiding something. She theorized, you know exactly what your mother is doing, you know what your husband is doing. They're all working together for evil. With this type of energy floating around the group, it's very obvious that this Austin trip is going to be a mess. So before we continue, what in the world?
I think this is bonkers. And I think it was here that she was said that she was talking to Jamal. And
Yes.
that this witchcraft thing is really serious and she should stay away and blah, 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 blah. Listen, first of all, this is serious. And if you've watched our episode 4, I went on a little tirade and said, what the hell is going on with Potomac and all these like very serious allegations and all this mumble jumble that's going on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The way Wendy is moving, Dr. Wendy is moving, even has me believing that something's happening in the background, right? I don't know if it's necessarily a hex, witchcraft, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
but in the pickleball episode, the fact that she deflected to go talk to her arch nemesis Mia was hello. The way Happy Eddie looked perplexed, dumbfounded, borderline scared of Nneka's husband when confronted about this Facebook unfriending thing, like he was just caught off guard and he didn't know what to say, kind of thing. That was the face that he was giving. And I don't know, just Wendy's, just her moves, it's like not, it's not jiving with me. So I think Nneka has said some things that are true. And I wouldn't understand why she would come to the show with such a big allegation like that. If it was a
Yeah.
lot, like I feel like there could be different things. I
Yeah.
think that's just such a huge thing to be clout chasing about. It could have been
Right.
like, oh, Wendy has been my arch nemesis since Nigeria days kind
Yeah.
of thing. We were neighbors and we hated each other. That's something kind of light, but something like
Yeah.
this, and I guess coupled with her being a lawyer, knowing
Right.
what she's saying, and it's tilting towards NECA side.
Yeah.
That's what I think. What do you think?
I I don't know.
It's looking sus.
It does, primarily because of the way in which, like, we'll see later on, how Wendy kind of tried to downplay a relationship that she had with NECA's cousin-in-law. And,
Mm-hmm.
and then, yeah, the deflecting, and especially going and trying to patch things up with Mia. And there's some definite weirdness. Definite.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
think,
just,
and on top of that, I just don't understand why it's such a Wendy centric or a religious centric, topic with Wendy. So I guess this is to offset with the rumors, and then we formulate our own opinions whether it's true or not. You
yeah,
know,
I guess. Maybe. I mean, it's strange. Like,
I
I
think
don't know.
it's very strange. And if it is happening and Bravo is really broadcasting this, then shame on Bravo. Like, why are we even entertaining these kinds of things? Y'all could keep all your evil spirits over there. Just let me know if it's real and I will tune out. Okay?
Yeah. Well, this week, the cameras followed Mia and Gordon as they went to couples therapy. So, dang. We know that they've separated, and this episode gave us more information on what drove the wedge between them. Of course, they've been dealing with their financial issues. G has been working double to try to keep things afloat. Mia told their therapist that the busy schedule and financial burden have caused tension in their marriage. She retained a divorce lawyer because she was ready to call it quits. Gordon didn't realize that things in their marriage were at that point, but Mia explained how she didn't want her kids to see them arguing because of the abusive home Mia grew up in. She said she's extra sensitive to the type of environment she raises her kids in. Mia wants Gordon to settle down, retire, and be present with the kids. On the other hand, Gordon explained that he still wants to build wealth for his family. He said that there's a legal battle ahead of him to fight for his old company. Mia just wants him to move on and have a peaceful family life. On top of the financial issues, Mia shared a shocking story about a crooked lawyer that worked with them to facilitate a sale. The lawyer kept some of the proceeds from their sale and never gave it back. With the money in limbo, G filed a complaint against the lawyer. As a result, the lawyer was disbarred and later committed suicide. Mia said this just happened a few weeks ago, or a few weeks prior, and no one knew that she was dealing with such a disturbing incident. Later in the episode, Mia confided in Robin to talk about the anxiety, grief, and guilt she's been feeling since the lawyer's suicide. Robin endured a very similar situation with a family friend, so it was sweet to see the two of them confide in each other. Despite the current toxicity in the group, at least there are still some real moments of friendship happening. I have to wholeheartedly agree. That has been my favorite part of the entire season so far. And I know how disturbing it all was, but like, them having such a genuine moment, that's the Potomac that I loved. Anyway, what do we think about Mia and Gordon?
Mia and Gordon. I think it's very interesting. Some relationships are so complex
Oh, yeah.
because, in this episode, I can see, well, and, in other instances as well, you can see that Mia has like all this trauma, from growing up and stuff. So
Yeah.
she just wants to, forget all these things happen, move on, move away from all these negative situations.
Yeah.
And it's understandable given the history that we know about her.
Yeah.
So I think her, I guess her character, like everything correlates with
Yeah.
everything. So I think her lashing out to the different cast members and I guess even Jacqueline, it's just all this, and I'm not a therapist or a psychoanalyst or nothing, but I think it's like her inner child, like reliving like all these things and how she had to defend herself and be like
Yeah.
quick-witted with things. And then she forgets about it 3 seconds later because, or just moves on from it 3 seconds later. So I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of things that she's dealing with. I
Yeah.
mean, but I'm happy that she's like self-aware about some of these things and wants her kids to grow in different environments. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting that the way Gordon shows love is to, basically provide for his family. And I
Yeah.
think Mia maybe can't, from what we saw, can't wrap her mind around that.
Yeah.
She's thinking of it in more an emotional, physical thing, and he wants to, provide because
Yeah.
that's the way he's gonna feel better.
Yeah.
So, hopefully the therapist, can combine the two, different points of view, and they can find a happy resolution with that. And then with the Robin situation, the internets are undefeated,
Oh
right?
no.
Because Drizzy Eldris, the comment reader here, was saying, "Hey, can we see some receipts? Who was this lawyer? Because this is sounding a lot like the Robin storyline from a couple of years ago." So
Yeah.
a lot of people aren't believing this whole thing.
Really?
I
Hmm.
thought it was a genuine moment because Robin immediately like got teary eyed, and it was palpable the way she was feeling.
Yeah.
But the internet's, you know, they're not believing it, at least from what I saw.
Oh man. Well, for me, as far as like the Mia and Gordon situation, obviously we know now in real life, they're getting a divorce, so there was no real happy resolution at the end.
That's not.
But I think you're right. It is interesting the ways in which they each show their love and affection. I think they're also both from very different generations. And they both have very different, individual issues and traumas. So um it would be inevitable that the outcome would be that they wouldn't work out because of that. And that's unfortunate. But I think it's contradictory that she wants him to retire and be more present with the family and not fight for the finances and all that stuff when she also blamed him for them losing their finances and losing their lifestyle. And so it's like, okay, well, he's trying to get that back for you in particular, and
Yeah.
you don't want that. Like, it just feels odd, like it's contradictory. It's like, okay, do you want to like have your money back, or do you want to have him at home? Because then if he's at home, you're going to probably resent that too, because you're going to have to be the one being the breadwinner. You're going
Hmm.
to have to be the one providing and all that. Like, is that something you're really ready and willing to do? So I don't know, like I feel like that was just like a little contradictory for me.
But you can also see it as it's the financial and I guess her being upset about all that versus relationships and like what is it worth it kind of thing. And to basically what she said, it wasn't worth it to fight with the family because I'm thinking she's coming from a broken home. It's not worth it to sever these relationships. But again, she severed this relationship with Jacqueline. Is that her name? Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, yeah.
So actually now I don't know. Forget it. Scratch it.
you know, there's also the fact that like the driving number one reason for divorces is finances. It is money. So I don't know. I find it a little bit odd to
Yeah.
really Anyway. So, next up, the Grand Dame of Potomac. Karen holds an obligation to ensure there's peace in her friend group. Right now, they're dwelling on the past and they need to move forward. It's good for their relationships. It's good for the show. Everyone wins when the ladies aren't holding grudges. So Karen is trying to lead by example here. Of course, she tried to bring the friend group together with the pickleball event, and that didn't work out as planned. So on the Austin trip, Karen wants to do what she can to get the rest of the ladies to move past their issues from seasons past. Karen already made a ton of progress in repairing her relationship with Mia. They're no longer just on handshake terms. She also took a few baby steps with Robin at Ashley's housewarming party, so she's hopeful they will be in a better place soon. In true Karen fashion, she had a unique metaphor to describe her status with Robin. She said the friendship is like a pie. Quote, with Robin, I cut the pie in half and put the other half in the freezer, Karen explained to Giselle, as the shady editors put a graphic to help us follow along. Karen said she doesn't want to fully commit to a friendship with Robin, the same way you wouldn't just devour an entire pie in one sitting. Karen needs to take slices out of the freezer, let them thaw, and enjoy it slowly until the pie is completely gone. I don't. Okay. That's a fair point. But at some point, even stuff in the freezer goes bad. She can't wait too long to thaw out the pie and eat it, according to this article. The
Yeah.
ladies made the trek to Austin. When they arrived, they gathered poolside at their hotel to kick off the trip. There's no better feeling than when you're finally checked into your hotel after a long day of travel and can finally enjoy some peace. However, this is the Real Housewives of Potomac, so peace is rarely achieved. When sitting poolside, Karen had it on her agenda to try to get Giselle and Candace to stop icing each other out. Karen needed them to take their pies out of the freezer and let them thaw, even if it's just one slice. But that's easier said than done. Candace is mad that Giselle said her husband made her uncomfortable. Candace ruthlessly body shamed Giselle. Neither of them can say or can see a way forward. Candace explained, Giselle does not want to acknowledge me because she thinks that if she doesn't speak to me, I will disappear. But my black ass is still sitting here. On the flip side, Giselle said that she doesn't have any desire to be friends with Candace after all the horrible, insulting things from Candace. Giselle even attributed the whole situation to safety for her children. Nothing good will ever come from speaking to Candace, Giselle admitted in her confessional. So the Grand Dame is having a hard time wrapping her head around the fact that Giselle and Candace can't just move past their problems. Because Karen and Giselle have moved past their own problems, she has a pie in the sky idea that Giselle and Candace could someday achieve their same level of mutual respect. At this point, it doesn't seem possible, but maybe the weirdness of Austin will somehow work some magic on these two. Karen, I love you, girl. But this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work.
Nope, it's not. But it might, actually. I think that Candace longs for acceptance sometimes.
Okay.
You know, we currently saw, or I don't know if you saw, there was an IG post of a Secret Santa, a
Oh,
white,
yeah.
and who was missing from this picture?
Karen, Candace, Wendy.
Karen wasn't there?
Karen was in there.
Oh, I thought she was.
No.
But I noticed that Candace and Wendy weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they're basically both in the outs. We've mentioned it in other episodes where nobody seems to like Wendy. Even NECA, who came 3 seconds ago, has something against Wendy. You
Yeah.
know, Candace is a firecracker.
Yeah.
Her mouth is lethal as well, and people don't like what she says. When she's happy and happy-go-lucky and everything is cool in the world, she is fantastic. When
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets mad, it's lethal. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't want to be dealing with all this unsteadiness that she
Yeah,
brings. And she has like childlike behavior sometimes.
she
So
does. Yeah.
who wants to deal with her and her dramas and her, you know, her, I was gonna say something inappropriate. Her, tantrums and her tantrums. Nobody wants to deal with it. Now, is
Yeah, yeah.
she, is she correct in the way she feels? Because, Giselle went overboard about this whole Chris Bassett situation and the essay, you know, being eluded and all these things. She has every right to be upset.
She does. Yeah.
She
She does.
does. But at the same time, I feel like she has this Wendy thing about her that she wants to be accepted.
Yeah.
And if Giselle says, "Hey, let's move on," I think she will move on, to be honest. Now, Giselle, I think she can hold on a grudge, and we've seen that with Karen. It went on for a couple seasons, and we've seen it with other people. Like, she's not that forgiving,
Mm-hmm.
but I can see Candace maybe extending an olive branch. Maybe.
I know that like she wants or she wanted to kind of be on good terms with Robin again. But I don't know about the Giselle thing, honestly. I don't see a way forward. Like, and it's not even from Giselle's point of view. I think from Candace's point of view, if I were her, I don't think I could. I don't think I would. Why would I want that? This woman, like, caused untold and like just insurmountable like drama to my husband. It's like I don't know. I don't think I could do that. But I just wanted to confirm. So that Christmas dinner was Mia, Robin, Giselle, Ashley, Charisse, and NECA. So
Hmm.
yeah, even Charisse went.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. But we know that Karen is the glue. So I honestly thought she was in the picture, to be honest.
yeah,
But who is visibly not there? The people that they are picking on this season and the past few seasons.
yeah, yeah, and
So,
like I appreciate that Karen is trying, like to bridge the gap or whatever, and get them all to come together. But I mean, if they're not willing to listen to the Grand Dame, I
mhm.
just don't see a way forward, to be honest, like in any way.
And I also think another reason why I think Candace would forgive or make amends with Giselle is because look at how many times she's been trying to be friends with Ashley. The original frenemies and Michael Darby's and you said XYZ about Chris Bassett. How
Yeah,
many times have they tried to be friends?
this is true. This is true.
So that's why I think that she'll, you know,
Okay.
she's more forgiving than Giselle is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I can see that. All right. So this is the last part of the episode, which is just you'll see why in a second I had to sigh. Okay, so for the second week in a row, the episode concluded with a back and forth exchange between NECA and Wendy. Everyone has been gossiping amongst each other about the witchcraft accusations, and there's obviously still a lot of tension from the pickleball event. NECA admitted in her confessional that she felt bad for not talking to Wendy about the shrine privately, but her emotions got the best of her. So, in Austin, NECA and Wendy took another stab at discussing their issues with one another. This time, it got way too convoluted as they dove into talking about cousins in law, sisters, and other characters who don't hold champagne flutes on the Real Housewives of Potomac. They argued about the timeline of when NECA's cousin in law, Lebby, first started hearing rumors of Susan's witchcraft. Once again, Wendy accused NECA of lying. This time, Giselle intervened and brought up the fact that this wasn't the first time Susan involved herself in Real Housewives of Potomac drama. Thank goodness for Giselle's memory because this was a deep cut. But last year, Wendy's mom went off on Mia on Instagram. She insulted her appearance and ranted about hellfire and Holy Ghost. For some reason, Wendy had a screenshot of the interaction saved and ready to discuss in Austin. She read it off to the group to prove there's no witchcraft coming from her mother. However, the other cast members thought that her mom's comments seemed a little unhinged and threatening. Seriously, why can't Susan just stay out of it like literally every other parent in Potomac? As the conversation continued, Wendy introduced a new version of the story into the timeline. She said that NECA's name was never submitted to a shrine because her family's issue was never with NECA. She said there was a falling out between Lebe and Wendy's sister. Unfortunately, the argument continued to get more and more confusing. Wendy backtracked and said that she didn't even know Lebe. She claimed it was just one of her sister's friends. Then NECA slapped Wendy with a major receipt. She said, if you don't know Lebe, why was she at your daughter's sippancy? The producers, of course, rolled some never before seen footage from Wendy's season 5 sippancy, and sure enough, there was Lebe. Not only was she there, but Wendy was fully honoring her during a speech. So, does that seem like someone that Wendy doesn't know? Either way, the situation gets more and more confusing with each moment. For the first time in this conflict, NECA and the other Potomac ladies finally broke the fourth wall and admitted that this beef is just about the show. Most of them are starting to believe that Wendy just didn't want NECA to join the cast. If they would just say that, we'd all be in a better place to enjoy the Austin trip. Until then, Dr. Wendy and NECA will continue talking in circles.
You know, I am the judge and the jury. And I dub NECA, I say NECA is innocent and Wendy is guilty. Because Wendy's really trying, but she really needed to formulate a better story. Like all the facts that NECA's throwing, there's receipts, there's video footage. They even said that Lebe had like a
A
head
gele.
thing, a
I think it's called
headpiece
a gele or something like that. I think
daily. And that's for very intimate, family kind of thing or respected kind of thing.
close.
So you ain't know her, and then now it's a falling out, and then there's text messages. Like it's just not looking good for Wendy. Like I'm pissed that I have to believe what I'm seeing. Like I want to believe Wendy, but the facts are there.
Okay. Whether NECA is right or not, she should have addressed that privately. At least the shrine thing. At the very least. Because
I hate about this.
that, I feel like that just goes into a whole nother realm of things that is completely unnecessary. And it involves Wendy's mother, who is not a cast member. So I feel like that just, it takes things to somewhere it doesn't need to go. So yeah, I think she should have addressed that privately. Do I think that she's telling the truth? Yes, at this point it's very evident that she's telling the truth. But this is how you want to really be introduced to the Real Housewives of Potomac fandom. This is how you're spending your first few like opening episodes, It just, I get like it's when you have an empty victory or whatever it's called. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, you were right, but was it worth it? Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel right because it's just like it was unnecessary to do it in the way that she did.
What
And
apologized and said that she didn't mean to, but the emotions got the best of
she
her.
apologized in the confessional. I don't think she apologized to Wendy.
No, no, in the confessional.
Yeah, so she's not apologizing to Wendy. Who
No,
cares?
I mean,
Who cares if she's apologizing in the confessional?
I don't know if she should apologize to Wendy, to be honest. But I
That's
mean,
her mother.
yeah, but how many times do the housewives bring up other people that are not cast members?
Well,
1,000
the whole
times.
the whole thing that Giselle did to Chris, Giselle apologized to Chris at the reunion. He's not a cast member. I'm just saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, point is, Wendy going around in circles, she did not do herself any favors. NECA had receipts. girl, just admit you're wrong, just admit you lied or whatever the hell, and just call it a day and stop with the whole witchcraft storyline. Like let's
Yeah.
just get away from that. I feel like that's just a little bit much. Well, I don't think we need to really go into that any further. Like why keep discussing it, you know?
At this point, I need Lebe to come to the show, just like Charisse does. They're like, come on, girl, tell us your side of the story.
I know. I
Like,
thought
tell us
about that too.
the third side. Because I
How
don't know.
about Andy brings her onto the reunion?
Oh, and he's petty. He would do
No,
that.
he's petty.
He
You
would
know
do that.
he's petty.
Andy, please do that for us. We need clarification.
Lebe finna show up with a binder because you know that's how they be coming up in the reunion
Oh
with their tea.
man. Yeah, with screenshots, binders, and
Screenshots, binders, photos, everything. Yep, yep,
phone numbers. You name it.
yep. Surveillance footage, like whatever you need. Next thing you know, there's gonna be a picture of the freaking shrine. Ay, Dios mío.
Don't
Sorry.
even. What?
Sorry.
This is
So
the end of this. Point is, NECA, you're winning this race. Your approach was not the best.
yeah, yeah.
And hopefully we have other storylines. I think it's if Wendy didn't want her in the show, I think that's just sad. Like, why would you not want a fellow Nigerian to represent? And actually, I would have befriended her. I'd be like, yo, we gotta stick together because these women here, they're crazy. I needed an ally. That's what I would have done.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I
I
think
don't
she
know.
probably like. I don't want to say she takes herself
Too
so
serious?
seriously, but I don't know. I don't know. I love Wendy. Wendy's like one of my faves. But it's weird. And I think maybe it just comes from the fact that like, every time there's someone new that comes along, they always have that shine, at least for that first season. And people rock with them. And so maybe, considering that supposedly Wendy and Candace are some fan favorites, they probably wanted to keep that. And so if you bring someone new, then that may change. And I don't know, maybe it was a little bit of that. Plus, like, they have a similar background. So, it could be like maybe she perceived it as her being replaced, or, I don't know, maybe it could be like a plethora of things. Who knows?
I don't know. I really like Wendy. She's one of my favorites. Some people may not like her retaliation tactics. I personally love it because
Of
they're
course,
so witty
of
and
course.
they hit where it hurts. But
Gosh.
I don't know. This whole thing has me a little disappointed. I
Yeah.
didn't want to root for NECA. I'm telling you that right now. I don't
Yeah.
think I like her per se. I don't like the way she treats her husband. I don't feel like I jive with her personality yet. I
Yeah.
don't know. There's something about her that I don't like yet.
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna like her ever, but I'm gonna say yet. So I'm just disappointed that this is all unraveling,
Yeah.
kind of against Wendy again. And I'm like, come
Again.
on, man, come
Yeah.
on.
That's unfortunate. Like, I don't know. It sucks because, like you said, they could have been allies. They could have been, whatever. Like, it could have been much better than what it turned out to be, I feel.
Yeah.
So,
So guys, let us know what you think about episode 5. Would you go to Austin? Have you been to Austin?
it's nice.
Let us know. I haven't been yet.
You haven't been?
No,
Oh, man, we gotta
you haven't taken me nowhere.
go.
Do we believe NECA now that she's providing even more evidence? Or are we siding with Wendy? Was it inappropriate to bring up this whole thing? I'm gonna call it a thing on national TV. Should NECA have approached her first? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're growing our community, so thank you very much. You guys are really sharing our video, and we're so happy about that because we've seen an influx of subscribers and,
Yay.
people sharing our stuff. So thank you guys. But please continue sharing our videos because you love us. And, your friends can be our friends and we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
We're on Instagram and TikTok at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys follow, like, share, comment. We enjoy interacting with y'all.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.